What is up? How are you today? It's Adam Balsinger coming to you with the Investor Boardroom. In today's video, we're going to be talking a little bit about the specifics, what it is that we do that helps to mitigate risk in any deal that we wind up choosing to purchase and move forward with. So this is incredibly important stuff if you are a passive investor or if you are thinking about becoming a passive investor. When you're making that commitment to go ahead and invest in the deal, you really want to know, okay, what is it that this operator is doing to ensure that they're mitigating the risk in this opportunity, right? Everything in my mind is a risk-reward question, right? So I love really big rewards, but I also don't like a ton of risk. So I'm always kind of in that medium risk type of investment opportunity. That's what I'm shooting for. Our team, we do a lot of work behind the scenes on the back end to do everything that we possibly can to mitigate as much risk and take as much risk out of a deal before we look to move forward. We have a fiduciary responsibility to every single one of our investors, and we take that really seriously. Now, before I get into the specifics, right, what it is that we do us a solid. If you get value from this video, right? Hit that like button. Make sure that you're letting YouTube know that this is good shit, right? So that they put it in front of more people. Also, subscribe to the channel. We're putting out regular content, regular videos to make you a better investor, to help you reach that goal of financial freedom. So do us a solid and subscribe to the channel as well. That way you don't miss any of our awesome videos. So what I'm gonna do here, my team and I are actually in the process of negotiating the contract on a deal that we were literally just awarded this week. Okay, so we are in the very early stages of our newest deal. This is over 100 units. It's in the Southeast, right in one of our target markets. We absolutely love this area, and we've got a really attractive cost basis, price per door going into the deal. Okay, but you know, we've done a lot of analysis, we've made a lot of projections, we've looked at sale comps and rent comps, and we've talked to a lot of brokers in the area, we've talked to a lot of people in the area, we have all of our projections and our business plan in place, and that is what we make our offer based off of, right? Well, now that that offer was accepted, what we are going to spend, so the way that we typically write up our agreements is we have 30 days from the mutual execution, both parties signing the purchase and sale agreement. Okay, so the way that this process works is to make an offer on a commercial multifamily property, we're submitting something called a letter of intent. This spells out the basic terms of the deal. If the seller likes our letter of intent, they notify us, we both sign the letter of intent, and then we each hire our attorneys, right? We engage our attorneys, and then our attorneys work on putting the actual contract together, the purchase and sale agreement. This isn't like residential where there's a state-approved, you know, realtor contract. So all these contracts are different for every single transaction. Generally, there's a week or two that pass in between LOI and the contract signature. So if we have 30 days written into our contract, right? We have 30 days from when the PSA is signed, but we also have a week or two in between the LOI and the PSA, right? So we basically have, think of it this way, like 5 to 6 weeks to do all of our due diligence. And essentially what we're looking to do here is verify that everything that we utilize within our projections is accurate, okay? So I'm literally gonna read off the list of what it is that we're looking for, okay? So obviously we're gonna get the title commitment and we're going to get the ALTA, okay? That's gonna be no matter what. Next, we're looking for all existing leases so that we can do a lease audit. We're going to literally read every lease, the entire lease for every tenant that they have on the property. We want to see a current rent roll. That rent roll we want to see matches up with every single one of those leases that we're going to review. We're looking to verify the lease rent, the lease expiration, and the security deposits for every single rented unit on the property. You'd be shocked how many times there are pretty egregious discrepancies between the lease and the rent roll. We are looking for the most recent 3 months worth of certified bank deposits from the seller, okay? It's really easy to say this property brought in $120,000 in income last month. Cool, Mr. Seller, we'll take your word for it as we're doing our initial projections, but guess what? We wanna see the fucking receipts before we spend and agree to move forward and commit to buying a 7 or 8 figure piece of real estate from somebody. We want to know that the income and the expenses that they've reported and that we've used in our projections, that those are legitimate and that they can back that up with actual data, right? So we're looking for the bank deposits. We're looking for the current and past income and operating expenses for the last 3 years. Okay, the only way it's not acceptable to get less than that is if the seller has owned the property for less than 3 years. The reason that 3 years is important, motorcycle, somebody's cruising around here. I guess that's what we get for shooting outside, right? Is some road noise. But the reason that we want to see that is to identify any trends on the property. Right? 3 years worth of information is going to give you an insight into some trends. We're looking for current and past capital expenditures for the past 3 years. So any major capital expenditure expense that they undertook, we want to see that. Preferably, we want to see the contractor's license, right? The licenses, the permits, the approved permits, right? We're looking for all that stuff. We're looking for architectural, engineering, and feasibility studies as to the condition of the property, if in the owner's possession. We're essentially always going to be doing an environmental report, right? This winds up being required by the lender anyway, but we're always doing a phase 1 environmental. We are expecting to receive a detailed, itemized inventory of the personal property used in connection with the running of the property, right? So here's an example. We bought a property 2 or 3 years ago that didn't have central air conditioning. They had a lot of window units in the maintenance shed, right? So what we were interested in is we didn't want to have to go out, like they had like 20 or 30 window units. So we wanted those window units so that we didn't have to go out and spend the money on 20 or 30 brand new window units, right? We just buy them and keep them with the property. So that kind of thing, that itemized inventory comes in big hand there. We're looking for the real estate tax and insurance bills for the previous 2 years. We want to see the actual bills. We're looking for any active service agreements. So these are any contracts that the current owner of the property has entered into that we're going to have to honor, right? These are also service contracts, could be landscaping, you know, depending on where you're located, there might be snow removal, right? There's all kinds of different service contracts. We want to know what we're committed to. And then we're looking for, and then last but not least, of course, right, other documents required per the lender to be able to execute on the deal. Now, that is just the information that we're expecting to get for kind of the financial due diligence side of things. We're also getting on site and doing a physical tour of the property. We are going to walk the entire exterior of the property. When I say the entire exterior, I mean literally every inch of the grounds, okay? We're assessing the structures themselves, but we're also looking at any kind of potential issues on the grounds, right? Weird grading could lead to still water issues, right? There's all kinds of weird stuff that you can see and glean from these walkthroughs. We're also physically getting into every single unit on the property. We're doing these walks, not just us, but we also have our property manager on site with us, and they've got their maintenance team. And we also have the licensed tradespeople on site with us as well. We've got roofers out, we've got electricians out, we've got foundation structural engineers, we'll get plumbers out to scope the lines, right? The objective here is to identify anything that's going to cost us money at some point during our ownership of the property. We want to assess condition, right? We have actually pulled out of a deal in the past because of our physical interior walkthroughs. We realized that we were going to have to spend way more money to get the units into the condition that we wanted them to be in than we had budgeted for, and it wound up blowing the overall returns on the deal. The only thing that made sense was to actually pull out of the deal. So the reason that we do these due diligence inspections, right, the physical inspection as well as the financial due diligence inspections, is to make sure that we're not walking into a big problem. And what that does, it provides us with safety, but it also provides all of our investors with a lot of safety as well. So I hope that you learned a little bit from today's video. If you did, please again do us a solid like and subscribe, and hopefully you wound up finding yourself one step closer to finding